Alright guys, here's it's Glenn from Glenn's Car Collection. Here's an update on my 993 Turbo. This is a 1996, as you've probably seen in my other videos. They've only made this turbo for 2 years, 1996, 1997. 1998 was the last year of the 993, which is what this is, but 98s were not turbos. They took the leftover turbo bodies and made the C2S and the C4S. Alright? They made it in the United States. They made it less than 2,000 of these total. They made roughly 1,396, which is what this is, and just about 797. So just under 2,000, or exactly 2,000. Again, these are the 400 horsepower cars. I've seen statistics anywhere from 400 to 408 horsepower, depending what magazine you read. Look, from my point of view, drive videos on this car. I just did a great one with this highway drive. It'll look terrific with this new camera here. What you notice most about 911s, especially the air-cooled models, is this gigantic Tach. It's front and center. It has 5 classic gauges. The first gauge, because a lot of you are asking, is the gas, and that is the oil level. This is a true dry sump engine. So if I check the oil now, you only can check it with a dipstick, unlike modern Porsches. And the dipstick is so long, it's easier to get out, but I swear the dipstick is about the length of this car when you try to put it back in. And so it won't give me an oil reading because it's a true dry sump. There's no oil pan. I got to drive the car for 20 minutes, and you actually check the engine while it's running with the dipstick. Now, when you're driving, once the engine has warmed up, and that's the water temperature, once the engine is warmed up, if you're stopped at a light or a stop sign on level ground, this meter will go up, and it should be, above the red. So typically it goes about 3/4 of the way up, okay, depending how much oil you have in there. But again, the engine's got to be warm, it's got to be running, and you got to be stopped on level ground. If you're stopped on a hill, you'll get an erroneous reading. Okay, then the next, I'll call it the on the second dial, but the third gauge is water temperature. Right next to it, on that second dial, that's oil pressure, so that'll go up and down as you're driving. You hit the gas, it'll go up. As you're off the gas, you're down. Front and center, gauge 3 is the tachometer. And the car's not on right now, but underneath you can get a little digital speed, and you can actually get the boost. Usually runs 0.8 is the stock boost. In this car, it has stock turbos. They've been rebuilt, but they're stock turbos. You can get like a 1-bar spring, and then your bar will be 1.0. This is the speedometer. Now, the secret with these cars is this: driving them. I bought this car with 75,000 miles just about 2.5 years ago. So in 2.5 years, I put almost 2,900 miles. So about 1,000 miles a year I put on this car. The more you drive these cars, the better they run. What you don't want is a low mileage one, because that's a collectible only. That car will have so many oil leaks and problems. These cars are meant to be driven. So I try to drive it. I store it for the winter just for 3 months, unless there's no salt on the ground, but typically it's stored for 3 months in the winter. But, the other 9 months a year, I try to drive this every 2 weeks. So I try to do a Cars and Coffee. One of our cars, the Cars and Coffee that I take this to, that's every 2 weeks, is about an hour away. So I get an hour drive there, an hour drive back, which is great exercise for the car. So that's gauge 4, the speedometer and the odometer. And then gauge 5 is the clock. And even after 20 years, this is the exact time this clock runs fine. Okay? Then you have your heat and air conditioning controls here. Everything is in Celsius. It's a German car. And it works great. Air blows ice cold, unlike the old Porsches. By the time they got to the 993, they got everything right. This is an aftermarket radio, and it has everything Bluetooth, and you can plug in your phone or your iPad, whatever you have. Cigarette lighter's gone, but the great thing about this cigarette lighter is this is hot all the time. So I keep my car in a battery tender, and I can just plug it right in here. So I get the adapter for the cigarette lighter and put it through there to keep the battery charged. And then you have your glove box down here. The keys for these cars have immobilizers. So first thing I did and the keys on the left, right? Because Porsche, in their racing days, years ago in racing, used to run to your car. So the cars would be lined up. Their drivers would hop in the car, and Porsche made it to the left to get an advantage in racing, and they still keep this here to this day on the left-hand side. So when the driver puts it into first gear, he sticks the key in there, and as he's putting in first gear with his right hand, he's starting the car with his left hand, and off he goes. Okay, there's your light controls. This actually opens because it's a rear engine car, not a mid-engine car. When I touch this, the gas cap actually opens. So I pull this out, and now you'll see the gas cap. Unleaded fuel only. And they even give you a little thing in there. I don't know if that was stock, that if you take the gas cap off, it doesn't scratch the car. These are the window switches. When I first got these cars, there's 3 of them, 2 here. This does driver and passenger. And then on the other side, you have obviously just passenger. And literally all 3 failed like the first month I got the car. So since they've been fixed, that's a common problem with all 993s. Since they've been fixed, they work perfectly. These doors, for you guys who know your cars, are actually RS America door panels. They were in the car when I bought it. So I do have the stock door panels in my basement that I'll put on for resale. But I do like it. What you do is you lose the 2 speakers in the front that are on the driver and passenger door, and you also lose the armrest. But it's lighter weight and it looks cool. There is a sunroof. I think I opened it once. I'm not a big sunroof guy, even though smaller cars like the 993, I'm sure it could be fun. The 993s are actually small. This is 167 inches long, okay? My 1M, which is considered a very small car, the 1 Series, is 172 inches. So these cars are so small that they're actually 5 inches shorter than a 1 Series, which is really incredible. I mean, the M2 is huge compared to this car. All right, so that's a quick update on my 993 Turbo. I'll leave a link to the driving video that I just did today, which was a blast. Definitely, if you ever get a chance to drive these cars, do it. If you know anybody that has it, get a ride in it. These are fantastic cars. You have 400 horsepower, 0 to 60 in the high 3s, according to the car magazines I have from 1996 that reviewed this car. They were anywhere from 3.7 to 3.9 seconds. That's Car and Driver, Motor Week, Motor Trend. And, there's no stability control, no traction control. It's got a limited slip, and really that's it. It's got some brake differential, and that's it. So this car is a beast, and when the turbo kicks in, you better be looking forward. You better have the wheels forward. And again, the pedals, if you've driven any air-cooled cars, the pedals are actually hinged to the floor. I don't know how well you can see that. But you get used to it in a day. But the clutch pedal and the brake pedal that you're seeing in this shot now actually go in and out of the floor. So they're not curved under the dash like a modern car is. So that takes some getting used to, especially shifting. It's an older car, so the stick shift's going to be long, but it is a 6-speed. Porsche went to 6 speeds in 1989. This is a 1996. So when people see this car, the first thing they say is it a 5-speed or 6-speed? Porsche had a 6-speed really before anybody. So they've been 6 speeds for a while. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching this update on my 993 Turbo. Thanks again for your support. Please subscribe. Please share this with your friends and get them to subscribe so we can build this channel. I appreciate you guys subscribing and watching the videos. I really do. Without you guys, this channel doesn't exist. So keep up the good work, and I'll try to hold up my end as well. And we'll talk soon. Thanks, and have a great day.